is a show where I, Rich Slaton, read a true story about lawbreakers.
With his celebrator of International Women's Day, saying what's up to my sisters in Iran, bravely not wearing their fucking hijabs. You go, girls!
It's actually, little known fact about Shefsky, it's the only holiday he has on his calendar. Yom Kippur? No. Well, Christmas? No. Flag Day? Not even Flag Day, but International Women's Day. That's John Shefsky's.
Hey, you're a weirdo.
You know what's even weirder than that?
The music song?
Play the music!
Crime
Is the show that starts now!
Oh, like right now?
Oh, yeah, do your line.
Okay. Each week, Rich reads a real crime story. I don't know a word that rhymes with story.
And my homie John always has the hot riff. He really loves it when you send...
Don't send anything
them
to me. Don't you dare.
Crimepodcast@gmail.com.
Don't you send
Label
anything.
it John Shefsky. He loves them. Make sure the lighting's really good. Hey, everybody. Welcome back. And we are so excited to have you here. C3 Risk and Insurance Services. Guys, sometimes bad things happen, and you need protection for that. So whether it's home, auto, douchebag friend who keeps on insulting your shirt color choice, our friend Joe Earl at C3, he will have the coverage for you. He'll go out and shop around and find you great insurance.
He'll buy you a new shirt if you have a purple shirt because he doesn't want that
Or he'll buy you another purple shirt if your friend is an asshole about, and like spills something on it or rips it or something that
It's
I'm
like when your
expecting
friend
John
says you have
Shefsky
bad breath.
to do eventually. Always take a mint, by the way. If someone offers you a mint, I read that. Always take it every time. Also,
take your own advice and get a different shirt. Right?
always hit up Joe Earl at C3 Risk Insurance Services, c3insurance.com. Get that $25 Amazon gift card. And also, our other very fun, super cool sponsor, A Piece That Remains. Guys, A Piece That Remains, a P-E-A-C-E that remains, is cremation, art, and jewelry from D. Kettleson. If you know someone who's passed away, be it person, be it animal, be it beloved pet, and you don't know what to do with those ashes, D.
Even
Kettleson.
a digital person, you know what I mean?
If your Tamagotchi dies and you're like, I can't bring it back,
Set it on fire.
Cremate the Tamagotchi, and
Send
D.
her the
Kettleson
ashes.
makes unbelievably gorgeous artwork and necklaces out of that incorporate the ashes of that person or thing that's missing from your life.
Oh, it's missing. And still a piece remains.
You can go to apiecethatremains.com. She'll give crime listeners 10% off. She has both cremation art and non-cremation art. We just linked some on our Instagram. Go check that out. Support the show, support our sponsors, and more importantly, support our guest, a very funny comedian. You can see him this week on Comedy Central's Corporate. Put your virtual hands together for Alan Strickland Williams.
Hey guys, good to be here. I just need to give a quick shout out to my sponsors before we get moving. Randy's Coffins for Kids.
Yeah.
If your kid dies, fuck it. We got a box for you.
Oh, dude, that's the best ad read ever, dude. We need to find that company so we can get the.
I feel like Randy is the guy who would sell those too.
Yeah, well, Randy's lived a hard life.
My first coffin was actually that of a friend.
Randy's experienced a great deal
And oddly
of loss.
enough, he hasn't received new tools since he was a child. So
Yeah.
he only has small-sized tools to make small-sized coffins.
I actually heard one of his wood chippers is actually made out of a 4-year-old's femur. Go on with your story.
We haven't even started a story yet.
Well, you should go on
about
with it then.
James Clayton Vaughn Jr.
JCV Jr.
Born on April 13th, 1950 in Mobile, Alabama.
This is going to be good. Anytime anything starts with a guy with 3 names in Mobile, Alabama.
Oh, yeah.
This is going to be good.
A mobile station in Alabama. Go on.
His father, James Sr., was a butcher before he left to fight in World War II. He returned a disabled Navy vet with a drinking problem. His mother, Helen, was no peach herself. She and her parents immigrated to Alabama from Germany.
More of a prickly pear.
We get a lot of German-American criminals. I don't know. I'm starting to see a pattern.
Helen and her 7 siblings were raised in a strict household.
Of course. Germans. Turtlenecks. Whippings. Beatings.
Nazis.
Boobs with nipples you could see through.
Very somber poetry.
Right? Creamy things in dishes. Huh? Vinegar?
Her parents were not pleased when, as a young woman, she had her first child out of wedlock.
Oh, boy.
Dude, she's going to hell.
It probably didn't help that she married an alcoholic American World War II serviceman, especially since her parents were big supporters of the Nazis.
Oh, wow. So we've already...
Star-crossed lovers in fair Verona.
What's today's version of the supporters of the Nazis? Supporters
of the Nazis.
Yeah,
I was just seeing if everyone was awake.
dude, these hipsters, bro, they just keep on going to more throwback stuff.
Throwback Thursday.
TBT, check out.
I played roller hockey with a guy who said his grandpa was Hitler's right-hand man, and I was like, oh. And then
Dude.
we just played roller hockey together.
Check out the filter on my goose stepping video.
I didn't understand that as a kid. I thought there was gooses involved. Go on. Sorry.
The Vaughns settled in an all-white housing project of Birdville. They lived hand to mouth, getting by on James Sr.'s disability check.
Well, you things are telling me things aren't going too well in Birdville.
Nah,
The city's so great they didn't know what to name it. Just saw something flying by.
All right, now this one's gonna be Deer City.
You guys are making fun of the Birdville. I'd live in a Birdville, right? People probably feed you, right? A lot of sugary water hanging from trees.
They lived hand to mouth, getting by on his disability check. Helen administered discipline in the form of a good slap
Sounds nice to me, right? A hot German chick slapping you, giving spankings, maybe.
for anything from spending too long on the phone to eating dinner too slowly.
Oh, that doesn't sound fun to me. I do both of those.
Hurry up.
That's your German.
Eating
That's my
dinner
Helen's
too
voice.
slow.
If you don't eat quick enough, bro,
are you not finishing faster?
this is all I can fit in my mouth, Mom.
Well, you will suffer. You will take a shower.
Mom, it's soup. You can't eat it any faster than this.
Are you talking about feeding this poor German kid soap?
Soup.
Oh, soup.
Soup. No, I mean, probably
in,
ate soap.
in German cultures, they had to eat a lot of soap after the whole Holocaust thing.
Yeah, I mean, they had to wipe that stench off them, right? A lot of guilt. I need to clean my flesh.
Young Jimmy escaped reality by reading fantasy novellas and watching westerns. He loved to dress up as a cowboy outlaw, a practice he continued through his late 20s.
All right,
boy.
I already know the end of the story. So this guy worshipped, and he didn't have good communication with his family. He had a formal relationship with his evil German parents.
But is this what we're supposed to do? We're supposed to guess the end
This
of
is
the
what
story?
Shefsky's doing right now.
Oh, this is what
But
I'm
you
doing.
can guess the end of the story, right? You know what? Let's take your guesses.
I think he's going to kill a horse.
Do you think he's going to kill a horse? All right. A horse or a horse?
Horse.
A horse.
A prostitute horse, actually. Her name's Mr. Ed.
She said, nay, and then he shot her.
That's German, I think. Nay.
9,
That's
10.
Oh, no, it's Russian.
30.
Nay.
After Helen and James Sr. separated in 1958,
Oh, they broke up?
Couldn't last. Couldn't make it work in Birdville.
They couldn't decide who was more German and
if you
mean to
can't
their
make it
kids?
work in Birdville,
Where's it going to work?
He's over at Leopardville.
Dad made only sporadic appearances to beat them with his cane.
Oh, Dad.
So this guy's going to be a murderer.
Jimmy and his brother Gordon spent their free time fighting each other, torturing cats, playing with mace, and shooting guns in their shared bedroom.
Don't skip over torturing cats. What do you mean torturing cats?
Well,
He's more of a dog person.
following his mother's example, because she also was not very kind to animals, Jimmy, for fun, would take a cat by its tail and clothespin its tail to a clothesline.
Oh my God, I'm gonna
and just
throw
like
up.
watch it like wiggle around in the air trying to escape from a clothesline.
Well, I hope my wife doesn't listen to this episode. She's going to divorce me.
Smooshy. They
Don't say my fucking cat's name on there.
people. Oh, dude, people know
Is that
your
your
cat's
cat's
name
name?
now.
Smooshy?
Well, it's Bushy, but I call it Smooshy Bushy. And then my wife's cat is Stinky, but also a Shih Tzu, which is kind of a German name. So maybe he'd like the story. He's kind of sadistic too. He probably would like the story.
Jimmy and Gordon used books for target practice, leaving bullet holes in the cinder block walls of their apartment.
You don't read the books, you shoot them.
At the same
The
time,
Jew books, shoot them. Fire! Die, Jew book.
But Dad,
How am I going to learn anything?
it's Moby Dick.
But it is bound with human flesh.
march those books right out of here.
You did not grounded. Get it?
Oh, I see what you did there. At the same time, Jimmy started to develop strange phobias.
Like German parents that are mean to him. I just can't be around them. I'm scared of them.
He refused to drink out of a glass that had been previously used by his siblings, even if it had been washed.
What the WTF with Mark Maron are you talking about?
Whenever he sat in a chair, he first covered the seat simply because someone else had sat there once.
Oh,
Yeah,
wait,
well,
is
you
this-
know, they got their dirty butt.
Yeah, you can't go butt to butt through time, bro.
I just didn't know that Howie Mandel had German parents.
Right.
That's my thing.
Germaphobe?
Germophobic?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know what the joke is, but someone else at home figured it out.
Maybe that's what it is, though. It's a
German
word
phobic?
thing. He's like, I hate my parents. I hate everything that I am, and they're German.
German.
And germs.
Germs.
Therefore, since I have a linguistic problem, this is where I'm going to base all of my OCD on.
Yeah, I think that's it.
This guy's a murderer.
In high school, Jimmy began a spiritual journey
Did Jimmy eat world?
Trying to find meaning in life.
There's a lot of shitty cheap shots, low hanging fruit.
First, he made a list of every church in Mobile, giving each a visit.
30 years later.
Well, 1101 Main Street, that's a church. Write that one down.
Yeah, we were
All right. Now,
All right,
there's 1102 Main Street. Check.
Birdville's 37th First Baptist Church.
I mean, why waste the money on schools, right, folks?
I learned to count by just looking at street numbers.
How many beatings the priest had on me?
Jesus Christ didn't need math. Neither do you.
That's right. If you prayed harder, you wouldn't have your cancer. We don't need more clinics.
But none of the word of the Bible, none of these churches followed the word of the Bible as he interpreted it.
Oh, boy.
Wait,
Wow. So the churches in Alabama weren't fucking crazy enough for this crazy
for
fuck.
Jimmy?
Nope.
For Jimmy?
Not even close.
For Jimmy.
Not crazy enough
for a teenager?
For this Jim, yeah. For Slim
Wow.
Jim, not enough.
Wow. This guy's old Testament.
He's a kid that's like, they're just not strict enough for me.
Yeah.
Did their parents beat them like mine?
Attracted to fringe religions, he briefly joined the Sun Myung Moon Church, a controversial anti-communist congregation whose leader claimed to be the Messiah. More recently, an offshoot of that same church started by his son was in the news for holding a commitment ceremony where members married their AR-15s while wearing crowns of bullets.
Right, yes.
Wait.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
You didn't see that
Did you say
story?
did you say they married their AR-15s?
Yeah, there's
Did they watch Full Metal Jacket too many times?
Okay, I don't know how you react to mass shooting tragedies, but a real Christian goes to church, puts on a crown of bullets, and reaffirms their commitment to their semi-automatic rifle.
Was Mike Judge there filming
Don't you
it?
remember how Jesus Christ stopped the Romans from crucifying him because he had an AR-15?
No, that's exactly the point. They're gonna come and take him.
Maybe that was Jesus' problem.
I'm
Was a
all
lack-
about the right to bear arms, but the right to fuck your arms? Come on, people. Where do you put your genitals?
But even that wasn't weird enough for Jimmy.
Pa, I was trying to make love to my wife again and got my nuts locked in there.
Honey, how do you feel about that? Clack, clack.
Oh, that's like that's like the opposite of what I consider sexual. Just a hard piece of cold metal.
That's the sound my dick makes when it gets up.
Okay, you have issues.
Sorry, Mom.
Sorry, Mum.
But it wasn't weird enough for Jimmy, so he eventually made his way to the Christian Identity Movement, a group that believes that the lost tribes of Israel settled in Europe and that only these true descendants of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob can enter heaven.
I love how convenient the Lost Tribes is because it's not real or something like that, and they just everyone's like, it's these guys, and it's all over the world. There's a tribe in Africa.
They showed up everywhere, dude.
Yeah, they're like, it's them. And we could literally say that we're
The
right
lost
here.
tribe of Taiwan.
Yeah, the Lost Tribe called Quest.
I
Describe
think they wound up in Silver Lake or something.
that. The lost tribe sounds like a really, really cool little like vegan coffee bar in Silver Lake.
Yeah, where you can also get your hair cut for some reason.
They also sell records.
It's
Yeah,
a tattoo
it's weird.
parlor, and they sell Red Wing boots.
Described by the Encyclopedia Handbook of Cults in America as, quote, religion by sociopaths for sociopaths.
So when's their next meeting for their orientation?
Their doctrine holds that all non-whites will be exterminated or enslaved to serve the white race in heaven under Jesus.
Yeah, that's what I remember about Jesus was how he was always trying to own slaves.
And he was really into the whites.
Yeah. Yeah. There's so many white people back
You never
then.
saw him wearing a brown robe in,
Yeah.
in pictures.
That's the problem with believing ideologies is that when they're used for good, everything's great, and everyone's like, "Look how great it is! See, they're used for good." But then you're like, "Yeah, but like it's just like someone just needs to play a different note on the keyboard, like in Strange Brew," and you're like, "And they're using it for evil now." Like if you wake up, people,
Hello, people. I have made loaves and fishes, but not for you.
you're not white enough. Like Jesus, the Middle Eastern guy, or possibly black.
When Jimmy started high school, he was shocked and appalled to learn that he would be attending class with black people.
Oh, Jimmy, no one's gonna like you in this story. Jimmy's like the least likable criminal. So many criminals are like, this poor boy.
A lot
he
of
went
our
through
criminals
so
are
much-"
really likable.
Yeah, a lot of our criminals are likable. Jimmy were like, he's racist.
I'm telling you right now,
He's
this is not going to
racist
turn
AF.
around.
Yeah.
He is going to be
He's just gonna-
unlikable.
Oh, okay. Well, we need to have a couple unlikable to let our
Oh, yeah.
listeners know what it's like to really hate a criminal for once, right?
Then Birdville began to integrate.
Ooh. Now it's all gonna go to shit once you let those Taiwanese people live in Birdville.
Birdvillions of a feather do not flock together.
I moved here because it was all doves, and now there's ravens moving in.
When doves cry because black people moved in next door.
Frustrated by the new developments, Jimmy turned to the Mobile Public Library for answers,
Wait, this guy's into books and he's that big of a racist? What kind of world is this?
from which he stole a copy of Mein Kampf.
Hold on. Wait a second.
Did he walk out?
Why was it there?
That's the best question anyone has ever asked.
Why was Mein Kampf there?
Why was Mein Kampf in a
The real question, Mr. Williams, is why wasn't that the only book?
Right,
Why wasn't
right.
it the Mein Kampf Library of Mobile, Alabama?
Do you think when he stole it, he like put it underneath his jacket and he went, now it's Mein Kampf, and then walked out? That's what I would do if I jacked
I
that
bet you that there's a copy of Mein Kampf, at least one copy of Mein Kampf at the LA Central Library downtown.
Sure. What do you guys
I
want
had
to
a-
fucking
Just
get
for
rid-
historic
wanna
purposes.
get rid of
I
this?
ordered a copy of Mein Kampf one time for a sketch.
Yeah. And then
it-
you ended up loving it and changed your way of life?
it's the only book I've ever
Then you
read.
got this haircut. I get it.
It's like it's just so crazy. I'm like, oh no, I'm definitely on a list now. I bought Mein Kampf,
think
and then,
so?
and then on Amazon too, it goes. Other customers also bought, but then it was just other different versions of Mein Kampf. I'm like, yeah, if this is your book, you're getting every version of it.
yeah. I want to see all the
Shockingly-
edits, all the cuts.
Shockingly, I recommended the Arabic translation of Mein Kampf. I didn't see that one coming.
Wait, do you guys? They should have it available. You should be able to read it, so you could be like, "Oh, okay, this is this one guy's opinion, and he's obviously a douche." If you just delete it from the history books, then you got yourself a 1984 situation, and we don't need that.
I don't know.
They shouldn't have taken down the Confederate statues. They should have just put another statue next to it and like an arrow and a plaque. It's like, no, yeah, it says like, you see how these assholes act? You see what these assholes do? What a fucking dick. They should have put up a placard next to it. It's like, and then these people were fucking assholes.
You know what? We should all be statues.
That's right. Statues are the master race because they're solid, like they're strong. Unlike you, young boys, you're mixed with your colors.
Soon, Jimmy was a card-carrying member of the American Nazi Party.
Oh man, he must have worked with Henry Ford. I don't know if you've ever heard of him.
His younger sister Marilyn remembers Jimmy telling her bedtime stories of the many ways the Nazis killed Jews.
Oh wow.
You just said he had Holocaust bedtime stories.
That was his bedtime story.
Tell me about the, what's his name, the Angel of Death, Dr. Mengele again, as you're falling asleep. Well, he would do surgery on these kikes while they were still awake.
The little old lady lived in a shoe, and this was a shoe made out of human skin. Okay, yeah. He's like Dennis Miller for some reason in my brain.
Oh, that's
Hey, listen, babe.
You're onto something, dude. Aryan Nation's Dennis Miller.
In 1967, Jimmy dropped out of high school. As a graduation gift, his brother Gordon gave him a shotgun.
Oh my God. The last guy you'd want to arm.
Hey, with a note that said, use it.
Yeah.
With a note that says, "Stop those books." From that day on, he never went anywhere without a firearm. A fact complicated by a childhood bicycle accident that left him partially blind in his left eye and fully blind in his right.
And he's got a gun?
This is the first of many.
Dead-eye dick over here.
At least he's a bad shot, right?
The following year,
It's a shotgun.
Oh, God, yeah. He's got the duck
gotta get
pellets.
spread. The following year, a new girl
You can hit
moved.
so many Jews with this thing, you don't even have to be able to see. I'm
You're
over
not even
here.
able to tell if they are Jews, really. If you just kind of like get a Jewy vibe, just point and click.
Way I see it, you might have to kill a few white folks to get all the Jews.
Honestly, that's fair at that point.
Are we just two guys talking in a coffee shop over Mein Kampf holding our shotguns?
Yeah.
We got all hopped up on our coffee and we're all confident about it.
Yeah, yes, I would like a bagel. Of course I want it toasted. Who do you think I am?
Yeah. You guys have smoked salmon? They're like so super Nazis that eat Jewy foods?
I love their food. I can't help it.
Listen, I wish that Hitler would have got all of them, but I gotta
But if you
say,
got a
gefilte
schmear-
fish. Have you ever had a gefilte fish? It works really well in my bunker.
The following year, a
lasts
new
forever.
girl moved to the neighborhood. 2 weeks
Oh,
later,
no.
they were married.
2 weeks later,
It lasted
this
4
guy's
months.
charming enough to fucking get someone in the sack and marry them. 2 weeks later,
But
Well, he's well-read.
But the thing was, she's Jewish. No, I know what you're thinking.
coming this fall to NBC.
Jimmy and Rachel Goldstein moved in.
Jimmy eat Jew World.
The marriage lasted 4 months as his bride quickly grew tired of his routine of beating her, crying in the corner, then dressing up as a Hell's Angel and saluting Hitler in the mirror.
Wait, this guy would cry in the corner?
Yes.
Now hold on, that's a pretty good routine. We got to get this out there.
Step one.
Hey, that sounds like a pretty good act.
Step one.
Beat your wife.
Be your wife. That's how you warm up. You get your
Step
muscles
two.
loose. You cry in the corner.
That's the zip zap zop of racists, by the way.
Yes, this is. Oh man, I'm loving this guy's arc. These choices are amazing.
You cry in the corner just to find your center, and then you dress up in the Hell's Angels outfit.
That's
that you
step number
have,
3.
Despite not owning a motorcycle or having been on whatever, you dress up as a Hell's Angel, and
Step
then
number 4.
Step number 4 is saluting Hitler in the mirror.
Yeah.
Repeatedly for 90 minutes. Now you think
That's
it's
interesting because if you're saluting the mirror, you're really just saluting yourself. So he's actually not paying homage to Hitler, which I just want to be clear about that.
that's a good point.
I think it literally lets us into the psychology of all this shit.
but that's why it's art.
yeah.
That's why
Well,
it's art.
Because he
That's
sees
your claim.
This is
because Alan
what they
Strickland
teach you at
Williams
Juilliard.
he sees the Hitler in himself.
Oh my God! I see the Hitler in you.
Wow.
You look in the mirror because you're good enough. You're
I
smart
see
enough.
the
and doggone
Hitler
it,
in you.
people know you're Hitler.
They split up, and a few months later, she gave birth to a daughter.
Oh yeah, not before he left behind a demon seed.
After the divorce, Jimmy needed a change, so he moved to Arlington, Virginia.
And this is in the what?
This is where Jimmy gets his groove back.
This is
Yes, because that was the headquarters for what was the American Nazi Party.
Virginia.
Arlington,
I
Virginia.
thought Virginia was just full of like lovers, isn't it?
That's where the fucking Charlottesville
Yeah, all those like
march just was.
yeah. And then there was all like those, those loving plantations they had in Virginia too, where everyone just like hugged while they farmed together
Virginia,
with no
yeah,
inequality
Virginia was
whatsoever.
part of the Confederacy.
Trying to
Big time.
avoid controversy, the ANP had recently rebranded to the much less offensive National Socialist White People's Party, an intentional parody of the NAACP.
You'd think Antifa would love them. They got socialist in their name.
Membership dropped
They're
significantly
gonna give us health care. So what if we're not white?
as members were upset over the loss of their beloved swastika.
Oh.
My beloved swastika.
Swasti.
Did people
we missed you.
Did people marry their swastika too? Yeah, old Swasti. That's the
Hot.
character. That's the character, old Swasti.
Swasti.
Oh, that's the best.
Hi, Swasti. Swasti, you look a little askew. What's going on, buddy?
Oh, I'm just sad because there's no more Jews for me to eliminate.
Swasti definitely got rebranded as Stussy.
Swasti. Stussy?
Stussy. Is that how you say it?
I don't know. I thought maybe I was
I
wrong.
said
Stussy. Stussy sounds pretty funny too. Swasti. Swasti. Tell the kids about reading. What's your favorite book, Swasti?
Swasti's like, you know, I'm actually a Hindu symbol or whatever people say.
Shut up, Swasti. Get back in there.
I mean peace.
Swasti is held hostage.
Hey, Swasti, so you're a Hindu symbol. Great. What's that book that you the only thing to be that you have like 15 copies of it on that shelf behind you? Is that the Bhagavad Gita?
It's my cough. It's my cough.
That's mine, Bhagavad Gita. In Bhagavad
There we
Gita, baby. Reading spiritual text, baby.
Even amongst white supremacists, Jimmy was not popular.
Ha 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 ha. Jimmy, you're a fucking douche.
He was, of course, socially awkward, but he also failed to dress the part.
We need to get Jimmy some help. Is he still around?
While most members stuck to the rigid appearance of a proper Nazi,
I'm a very proper Nazi.
He looked more like a
You
hippie.
should hail Hitler, but with
Proper
your pinky.
Nazi? Sloppy Nazi.
we are here today to find Gustav, who has not been dressing like a proper Nazi.
Hey, Jimmy, a couple of the guys are talking, and yeah, you can't wear those flip-flops anymore.
But, bro, I like the flip-flop for the white race, dog.
Hey,
people just
Jimmy,
need hugs.
Jimmy, your Who Farted shirt, we just can't have that associated with
But that's an important
fucking
question.
Nazis.
Who fart? If we can't figure out who fart, personally, I blame the blacks for all the farts.
Yeah. Yeah, white people don't fart, Jimmy.
There's got to be a Jew gas joke in there somewhere.
Bro, I didn't even think about that, dog. Hold on.
Dude, did someone crack a stanker right now? It smells like
Crack a
Zyklon
stanker?
PU.
When party
Wow.
leaders gave him the job of organizing a sabotage mission on a liberal group's headquarters, no one volunteered to help.
Yeah, no one wants to be on a team. Even for Nazis, they're like, he's
Come on,
fucking
guys,
annoying.
can't we just put our petty differences aside and fuck up some liberals?
Right?
God, do you want
They
to spend...
hated him so. Here's how much this guy sucks. The other people that hate all the other people
Hate him.
more.
It's like a diamond making of hate.
Yes.
Look, at this point,
What a loser.
I have to admit, I really hate Jews.
What
but
a loser.
But if it means not having to spend 4 hours in the car with Jimmy, I say let him live.
Look, bro, you gotta hate Jews more than you hate. Wait, you gotta love You gotta love Jimmy.
Wait,
See, he's even got you
wait,
confused,
who do we
man.
Fucking whatever. We need to team up with this guy so we can make our Swazi signs and get out there and protest.
It took significant cajoling to convince some members to provide a distraction long enough for Jimmy to sneak inside the building and set off cans of tear gas.
Did you just use a Yiddish word to describe something with Nazis?
cajoling?
Isn't cajoling?
Not Yiddish.
oh, sorry, my mistake, my bad.
The next,
the Nazis were right. I'm imperfect.
Jimmy's next big break came in 1970 when he was photographed outside the White House protesting a visit from Israeli Prime Minister Golda Meir while wearing a Nazi uniform.
Oh, man.
Over the next few years,
And you know what? That's going to clash with the White House. That's not going to look
That
good.
tan, like, what you need something a little bit more bold, right?
Yeah.
Juxtaposition.
over the next few years, he mostly stuck to insulting mixed race couples on the street, plus racking up a
Like
couple.
when you do people watching at one of those outdoor Starbucks, but instead you insult
That's
people.
a very specific kind of people watching.
Oh, yeah,
It's
yeah.
like that's more like watching for people.
Along with a few arrests for carrying concealed weapons. But he grew disillusioned, as the members only seemed to want to talk but not act.
Oh, man. I hate being around all these lazy Nazis. It's like, let's get something done for once.
Dude, if there's any Nazi I like, it's a lazy Nazi. Where he's like, man, I would kill some Jews, but Rick and Morty's on, so...
You think Nazis like Rick and Morty, you
I
fucking
think
asshole?
everyone likes Rick and Morty.
That's a great marketing scheme for them. Maybe they could advertise with us. We could do an ad read for them.
In 1973, Jimmy returned to Mobile and was shocked when a stranger opened the door to his home and informed him that his mother had died a year before.
Well, why didn't you send me an email or something, man? I was just a phone call
So
away.
this guy sucks so bad. His own mother was like, "Don't tell him."
Maybe she was like, I don't want to distract him.
Do you have any last words, Mom?
Don't tell my son I died.
Wow, that's not what I expected, but it's your dying wish. Jimmy went to confront his sister Carolyn whilst wearing a karate gi.
She was wearing a karate gi, or
He was wearing a karate uniform.
Obviously, a Japanese style, not karate, which is Chinese. He's wearing something
Karate is Japanese.
That's what I said.
Kung Fu's Chinese.
I know.
You don't.
I don't.
I know.
I'm just saying they were
Because
part of the axis of evil.
I got my skills, bro. If you listen to the bonus episode, you'll know that I am ready. My challenge, I'll put it out publicly now too, not just for bonus people.
You're full of
I
shit.
publicly challenged any member of the Tolkien family of J.R.R. Tolkien's descendants to a fight over our my wealth versus your wealth, winner take all.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
I pledge to be there and to make sure that Slaton wins, not physically, but through
If you
emotional and
win,
spiritual support.
you get the Patreon money that we make plus my Corolla, and if I win, I get whatever you get from Lord of the Rings.
Fair. Seems fair.
Yeah.
They're not going to do that because you'd be so wealthy from that.
Carolyn informed her brother/ninja that they had tried to reach out,
Up next, Ninja Brother, right after Racist Brother on Fox.
but they couldn't find him because he had been in jail on concealed weapons charges.
Right.
Just a fine example of Hitler's master
This
race.
is a good guy, man. This is a really good criminal.
Oh, yeah.
He stuck around just long enough to discover his sister had a black maid.
Uh-oh.
Then he cussed her out and left.
She has a maid? So
Wait.
these guys, I thought they're rich now? They have maids?
I mean, maid, cleaning lady, middle class people hire someone to clean their house sometimes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
All you gotta do is get to middle class.
So are
dude.
they all Nazis or just him?
No, just him.
Okay.
I mean, I'm sure they're not like stoked on blacks and Jews, but they're not like out trying to change the country.
Jesus Christ. All right, go on with your freaking depressing story about the state of affairs.
From there, he went to Atlanta and joined the.
Oh, I don't like black people. Where are you headed? Atlanta. Oh, yeah, you'll have a great
Going to
time
the
down
big
there.
leagues, buddy.
There, he joined the National States Right Party, headed by J.B. Stoner.
I thought you were going to say JB Smooth. I was like, wow, does he have a weird past?
JB. The JB stands for just bongin'.
The NSRP was more Jimmy's speed.
Just bonging?
Just bongin' stoners.
Just
dude.
bonging around, bruh.
Just honking bobos, dude.
Stoner advocated.
Juice blow. That's my initials, JB, Juice blow.
Stoner advocated killing Jews and referred to MLK as Martin Lucifer King.
What was this guy smoking?
Even if you're a Nazi, I feel like you'd have to love Martin Luther King. He was such a likable dude.
He gave Jimmy a job selling the organization's newspaper, The Thunderbolt, the White Man's Viewpoint. which
Thunder. Everything's phallical symbol with these fucking dudes. They all need daddies and like just a little confidence,
the cucumber. White neighborhoods are great.
right? You're watching The Shaft, all about white culture.
You're here on Banana Hammock, only for whites to sit in.
To subscribe to The Poll, click.
The Thunderbolt included things like a cartoon showing Jews sucking blood of a dead Gentile baby through straws.
Okay, I've seen that one. That one's
rad.
good.
Yeah, that's like those Russian tattoos that you're just like, that's pretty badass though.
You're like, dude, this is like a dope zine.
So Jews are like an awesome band? Is that what you're saying?
I think that all
That's
these
so
people,
metal.
these people will be so disappointed to find out how boring it is to actually be a Jew. Like the whole like blood sucking stuff. You're like, yeah, it just doesn't happen.
Yeah,
dude.
we eat dry crackers for 8 days out of a year. It's really not that fun.
Yeah, then we talk about how much stuff costs and then complain about things and then, tell everyone how wonderful and how much we love our families.
Shockingly, Jimmy found it difficult to sell a racist newspaper on the streets of one of the blackest cities in America.
I sold 3 of them and then was beaten up by 7 black people.
This is why you gotta have freedom of the press.
There you go.
God, or
What do
just
you do about
citizen
that?
journalists.
You got to let these Nazis make their zines.
Yeah.
So he moved to Baltimore, where he practiced karate and lived in an abandoned office building as the caretaker.
What a oh my god.
This guy's psycho. So he just needs a tutor, like a psychology tutor that could just be with him 24 hours a day and train him to not be a fucking idiot.
So the student has become the master race.
yeah.
His sister Marilyn briefly came to live with him, but was soon put off by his rules.
I thought you were going to say Nazism. What are his rules?
They weren't,
sit there!
I mean, yeah.
Right? Because he's a clean freak.
They weren't allowed to touch public door handles just in case they've been opened by a black. I'm going to say black in this chunk as if I'm South African because somehow it seems like it kind of softens the blow here.
You have to roll your tongue more, though.
Black.
No, there's
Black.
a black. There's a black over there.
If a restaurant had black employees, they were eating somewhere else.
What? How do you know who the employees are?
If you see one, say something.
That's what that was for.
That's where it came from originally. Everything has racist roots, dude.
Yeah.
He wouldn't even allow music unless they confirmed the record had not been produced by a Jew.
Wow.
Good luck, right? I don't want anything. I don't want black people playing any instruments, and I don't want it produced by a Jew. Well, you have one record, sir. It's actually a Hitler spoken word poetry album.
She finally left when he flipped out when he found letters from her Hispanic boyfriend.
Well, what were they written in? How did he know that they were Hispanic?
Yeah, they were just written.
Yours truly, Carlos Santana.
Hey, essay. I love your ass, homie.
Oh, dude, it's all like homies and like little characters of cholos and lowriders and shit.
He just wrote them on the inside of tamales.
Yeah. So my homie Tiny left me a letter, dog.
Jimmy left Washington in 1976 after Jimmy Carter beat Gerald Ford for the presidency.
Oh, are you bummed about that Carter got in? You fucking Nazi.
Upset over Carter's position of racial inclusion, he sent a letter claiming that the new commander-in-chief, quote, wasn't worth the cost of a rope it would take to hang you with.
Oh, dude, the peanut farmer himself.
He moved back to Atlanta, where he joined up with the local KKK.
Is this story about the beginnings of...
I was like, why didn't this fucking idiot just go to the KKK first?
This guy is an idiot.
It took him a long time to get there.
And just like any group that's fucking full of hatred, they fight amongst themselves when they're not fighting outside the group.
Right.
So, like, you think, like, why aren't all these white supremacist groups just friends? Which we should be grateful they're not. Because they're just constantly like, you're not white enough. You're not racist enough. You're doing this. It's like American History X when he was mad that they interacted with other races to get their drugs in prison. You're like, Jesus Christ, dude.
His dedication earned him a promotion to the position of Kleagle, being in charge of recruitment.
That's the most redneck way of saying, I'm a Kleagle.
I've been doing Kleagles this whole podcast, actually.
That's how I'm not coming right now.
Yeah.
I'm holding my Kleagle.
When he wasn't rushing new racists, he spent time training in the use of weapons and explosives at the many secret KKK camps in the wood.
Secret kit?
Hey, do you guys want to have a secret meeting and set off a lot of loud bombs? Do you guys want to have a secret meeting where we get caught?
Hell
Okay,
yeah.
cool.
How quiet are you at cross burnings?
Let's be really quiet, but let's set off a lot of bombs and be really loud.
But it didn't take long for Jimmy to decide that the KKK were
Was
a
not
bunch of pussies.
okay.
So he struck out on his own.
Just one little K, just by myself. I don't know why I wouldn't throw there.
Now y'all are the KK, okay?
For his first solo project, he sprayed a mixed couple with mace.
Wow.
He's like a fucking annoying asshole.
During his arrest,
like a
he
weird
calmly
Banksy.
explained that he thought interracial dating was wrong.
Calmly. Just calm. Just a calm guy.
He made and then jumped bail. 13 days later, he successfully petitioned a court in Maryland to change his name to Joseph Paul Franklin.
Wait. So he ran away and then went to a legal
Went to a
government
different state.
office and said, "Hey, can I change my name?" And they didn't know that he's being looked for at the other state.
Mm-hmm.
Man, the old days were glorious if you were on the lam.
Joseph Paul Franklin. Franklin,
JPF.
in honor of Benjamin Franklin,
Sure.
and Joseph Paul in honor of Paul Joseph Goebbels, Hitler's minister
I know
of propaganda.
you don't tell anyone who Goebbels is.
I'm
All
just-
of our
for
listeners know.
the listeners might not know.
Crime listeners know who Joseph Goebbels is. JG, we used to call him in World War W.
With his new
Jopa.
name and military-style training, Jimmy, a.k.a. Joseph Paul Franklin, was finally ready to begin his mission of starting a race war. But he needed money.
Is that like Food Fight where you just go, race war?
I feel like CCR should have started playing like all those movies where they're going to Vietnam. Like,
Yeah.
we're starting a race war. Down, 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 down.
Yeah. Oh, you're not white. You're with a white girl.
Jimmy needed money, so
You're
he
black.
robbed his first bank in June of '77, using the cash to buy 50 pounds of explosives.
But this guy's a Nazi dude who robs banks. This is fucking weird.
As just a side note, I'm not going to go over his bank robberies, but he robs a lot of banks as he's doing all this to keep funding his things.
Dude.
Yeah.
This is an interesting. Okay, this is tripping me out. This is always weird. This is like the Point Break / Nazi Point Break.
Yeah, this is Nazi Point Break.
Without the surfing.
Yeah, or you can call it Nazi Fast and the Furious.
I did not.
Nazi Ocean's 11.
I did not see either of those.
Ocean's a Nazi.
Ocean's a Nazi.
Nazis 11.
Nazi Inglorious Bastards.
Ooh, that's pretty good. I have seen that one though.
His first target was the Maryland home of Morris Amate, the executive director, or maybe it's Amite, the executive director of the American Israel Public Affairs Committee, also known as APAC.
He robbed a Jew, huh?
On Monday, July 25th at 3:20 a.m., he ignited a bomb so strong that it lifted the roof off the neighbor's house.
Like in a cartoon, and then it came back down.
Yes, actually.
And then I saw a pretty lady, and my eyes started to bulge out of my head.
Oh yeah.
Luckily-
that was the boner sound.
None of the Amate family was hurt.
They were in shul.
The FBI and
I feel like the
ATF were
Amate,
confused.
family definitely speaks Pig Latin.
Oh, sure.
I
Amate
Amate Uje.
hate to CRiiiME.
idhe behind bay a ag bay of Eagles Bay, and the explosion a didn't he ime.
The BIFA and the TFFA
Don't you try reading the rest of this story in Pig Latin. I will smack your
were
tits.
unfused K.
Get back to the regular story reading.
The ATF and the FBI were confused as
Okay.
there was more than enough explosives to level the home.
So this guy was a failure at bombing.
Jimmy messed up.
Da bomb.
He meant to kill everybody. Determined to get it right, he built an even bigger bomb. On July 29th, he placed it under the floor of Beth Shalom Synagogue in Chattanooga, Tennessee.
Jesus Christ.
Fuck this, man.
Running 200 feet of extension cords through a crawl space all the way to a socket next to the ice machine at the airport inn next door.
Dude,
Yeah,
people
man.
used to terrorize temples. What a weird place to terrorize people. Do you?
How's this guy always find an outlet, but I can't at the airport?
just to charge your laptop.
Yeah, you guys ever notice that guys doing hate crimes can always find plugs, but you can't when you're at the airport?
Hey, I know this is like it's a busy place, or whatever. But do you have a place I can charge my bomb?
I gotta put my bomb on low power mode.
Is this what that movie Tora is about?
He set the timer to go off at 9 p.m. just as services would be ending. But luckily for the Jews inside,
This rabbi is so boring.
luckily for the Jews, only 8 people showed up that night.
That's
Too shy
story
of
our
the number
religion.
needed for a minyan, the
Yep.
Jewish religious quorum. When the bomb finally went off, the building was empty because they never held services.
But they broke my Seder cup. It was from my Zadie.
Why is this guy? Yeah, you're in Chattanooga.
This guy's
go to if you hate Jews so much, go to New York City.
Well, you don't want to be that on him. Also, I think there's about I want to say there was something between 20 and 50,000 Jews in Tennessee.
Wow.
Wow, I didn't know
correctly?
that. Yeah.
Wow, that's some like
Enough to fill up a Jew cruise.
pioneer Jews.
Oh yeah.
You can have a sold out Jew cruise. That many people could do that?
Oi!
And shalom. This is never mind. I
By
forgot what I was
now-
gonna say. I had something I wanted to say and I forgot because I got caught up in some sort of stupid character bullshit. This fucking show is ruining my mind. Oh, I was just gonna say that this guy is he's fucking nuts, and you could tell by the way his parents beat him and were strict on him. That probably when he was like in his developmental age of like 1 or 2, he just never. This guy's still got a screw loose. He doesn't know how to make bombs. He doesn't know when to do things. He's just a nutty dude that thinks it's Jews' fault.
The boy ain't right.
He can't even dress right for a Nazi.
Y'all got any Nazis?
Jimmy had 3 successful bank robberies under his belt by this point, but he was 0 for 2 in race murder. Looking for a win, he made his way to Madison, Wisconsin, intending to kill a Jewish judge who he thought was too lenient on black criminals.
Jesus.
But on his way, he stopped at a mall. As he pulled into a parking lot, a car momentarily blocked him. He was frustrated until he saw it was a black man with a white woman.
Oh Jesus!
Now he was furious.
Don't you just hate Mondays?
He yelled at them. Then the man got out of the car. That's when Jimmy got out and opened fire, killing them both.
Whoa, fuck! Jimmy is a murderer now.
As he ran back to his car,
Oh,
his
fuck.
cowboy hat fell off.
He has a cowboy hat. Jimmy has a cowboy hat.
Yeah, he dressed like a cowboy up into his 20s.
Fuck! He dresses like Jim Carrey and Dumb and Dumber once they get all the money. Fuck!
He sped away, leaving
Best
it
kind
behind.
of racist, right? Big gloves with tassels on the end of them. Fuck you! Or like Howling Hitler with the tassels flying up in the air. And they're just like,
I picture like a rhinestone Nazi.
like a Japanese Nazi.
Over the next month, he robbed banks, shot another mixed race couple, and finally killed a Jew.
So 5 people are dead now at the hands of this guy? Mm-hmm. So he's robbing banks. He's killing people. He sucks at a lot of shit. He wears cowboy hats. I like his cowboy hats. Other than that, I'm not into him.
For one of his shootings, he carried his rifle in a guitar case.
Oh, wow. He's an El Mariachi fan.
Oh,
Wow.
we have an artist amongst us.
That's right. I will go to work now.
So far, he hadn't come even close to being caught, so he could only draw one conclusion. God was on his side.
Oh, God.
Ding, 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 ding. We have a winner.
Yeah, we got ourselves a fucking moron. Here
With
we go.
divine right, he was finally ready to set off his race war. But before he could get started in earnest, he had to eliminate the one man who had done the most to promote race mixing in all of America.
Ronald McDonald.
Hitler.
Yeah, see, Hitler did so much damage.
what Hitler
during
did,
World War II.
Hitler was good for.
My problem with Hitler is he wasn't hard enough on the Jews. You know what I'm saying? He killed them. It's like you could have done so much more than kill them. You know what I'm saying?
Who is the alpha to this guy's omega?
Larry Claxton Flint Jr.
Wait,
was born on November 1st, 1942 in Lakeville, Kentucky. His father, who was also an alcoholic World War II veteran, also left when he was a kid. Larry also grew up in severe poverty. At 15, he joined the Army using a fake birth certificate, but was just discharged for low test scores. He took a gig in the Kentucky mountains as a bootlegger, but soon the law was onto him, so at 18 he re-enlisted, this time in the Navy, where he served until his honorable discharge in
Wait,
1964.
how old was he the first time he went to the army?
15.
Like 15 or 16.
15.
Yeah, 15.
In the old days, you could just like get a piece of paper.
What is with that?
And they probably didn't want to check. They're like, okay, you're 15. I mean, you're 18. Cool.
In 1965, Larry bought his mother's bar for $1,800, around $14K today.
Everything should be fine then. He bought a bar.
Before long, he turned enough profit to buy 2 more. He worked 20 hours a day, fueled by amphetamines.
You can never have just one, am I right?
Right? They're like Ruffles, bars. You got to just keep it crunchy.
In 1968, he decided to open a new, higher class bar.
Ooh, bar rescue style.
It would feature nude hostesses who would sometimes dance.
Welcome to the Heil.
I'm listening.
He named it the Hustler Club.
Oh, this is
Larry
Larry.
Flint.
This is Larry. This is
Larry
the Larry
Flint.
Flint. I was thinking that. I was like, this can't be the Larry Flint. Larry Flint was doing bootlegging?
It was such a hit.
Our Larry Flint? Like Larry
yeah.
Flint? The American
yeah.
Larry?
Oh, yeah. It was such a hit that within a few years, he was able to open 5 more across the Midwest, each one grossing between $250,000 and $500,000 a year.
Wow. Larry.
In January of 72, Larry started a membership program,
Oh, fuck. This is why Larry's in that chair.
I was thinking the same thing.
complete with a 2-page monthly newspaper containing facts about his strippers alongside a sexy picture.
Oh, dude. I want to masturbate right now. Larry, hats off to you.
It was so popular that by May, the Hustler newsletter expanded to 16 pages, then 32.
Oh, it's hot. And they were like amateur photos.
And that's finally when I got turned on, when they had those 32 pages.
Dude, 30 pages not enough for me.
Not
I need
enough.
32
I need
pages to get a
32
full
to
bud.
get off. Yeah.
Yeah.
Noticing a trend, he began to study Playboy and Penthouse, concluding that they were for the middle class.
Studying.
I'm just reading it for the business profile, bro.
I'm researching. Mom, go away.
In 1974, in 1974, he published the first official issue of Hustler magazine, directed towards working class men who he believed wanted a different kind of pornography. And by that, he meant pink shots, photos of open vulvas.
Hell yeah.
That's a less than classy way to explain it, but yes, I think that might be.
I think that's the first time we've used the word vulva on this show.
I think so. Is that a hashtag you're welcome, Mom?
Happy International Women's Day.
Within a year, Hustler was bringing in over $500,000 per issue, equal to what his best clubs did in an entire year.
Yeah. Wow.
Right out the gate, the publication was very controversial. In 1975, he published photos purchased from an Italian paparazzo of Jackie Onassis sunbathing in the nude.
Where are they still available or what? I'd sure love to see that situation.
The photos caused widespread outrage. Within days, the
That's why
issue sold 1
JFK
million
killed
copies.
That's. I don't think you have a very interesting theory on the Kennedy assassination, Alan.
Yeah, didn't you know? Yeah. If you
himself?
look at, he killed. He put a fucking gun in his mouth and killed himself.
You guys didn't see that in the Zapruder film?
If you watch the footage in slow motion, you will see.
You can
Watch
see
it
him,
again.
Watch it slowly. You can see him put a bathrobe around Jackie and then put a gun in his mouth. He was first prosecuted for obscenity in 1976. The trial launched him into the public eye, which is how he met Ruth Carter Stapleton, an evangelist Christian and sister of President Jimmy Carter. They struck up a close friendship. Within a year, Larry declared that he was now born again, vowing to turn Hustler into a Christian magazine.
What? I didn't know this about the history. Oh my god, that's interesting.
Yeah, you got to watch that movie.
But Larry was still committed to defending the First Amendment.
Backdoor Sluts 9.
Yeah, not the one with Woody Harrelson and Courtney Love. No.
And by proxy, he defended the Hustlers that had already been published. He also launched a new magazine called the Los Angeles Free Press, which ran stories alleging CIA and FBI involvement in the deaths of JFK and MLK.
Oh, okay. So he's getting political.
But none of his work elicited more anger than a 1975 Hustler pictorial entitled Butch, a Black Stud and His Georgia Peach.
Ooh. Oh, so this pissed off our little friend here. Oh, I can't see a black man with my white woman, which, by the way, is some of the best porn.
Racists across the country.
The contrast is unreal.
Were incensed when they flipped through what they assumed would be good, moral, white, open pussy pictures, only to come across Butch and his peach, a white woman.
Oh, they were
What is
upset.
happening to our cum rags? Remember when a cum magazine used to mean something in this country?
A good Aryan dumpster being wasted like that?
Come on.
I can't even let my kids look at pornos anymore. You see what us riding up and down the street reading pornographic magazines.
Do you guys
and now,
get mad at the people having sex in porno? I'm always like, I want to high five them. Like, yeah, did you guys come good? Cool.
I'm proud of everybody.
Right? I mean, I'm happy for all of
I
them.
only anger
could get-
jerk,
how could you get
so
mad?
that's actually why porn works great for me, because I'm so angry at these people for fucking on camera.
I could see you angry jerking.
One of these men
If
went
you
by
want
the
me to.
alias Joseph Paul Franklin.
JPF.
On March 6, 1978, Larry Flint appeared at the courthouse in Lawrenceville, Georgia, to answer charges of obscenity.
That was his first mistake.
Fuck yeah, he did.
By now, he went everywhere with security on account of the 3 to 4 death threats he received each week.
Jesus.
However, on this particular day, he had sent his bodyguards home because he found the people of Lawrenceville to be so friendly.
Oh my god, the story is fucking tripping me out right now.
He and his lawyer both had a salad and grapefruit juice at the V&J cafeteria.
Okay, that sounds like a fucking horrible meal. I just want to make note of that. A lot of acids
God.
going around in my stomach, nothing absorbing anything.
Yeah.
Just lettuce and a little bit of Caesar dressing. Oh,
As the local paper reported that they had done every single day.
probably had ranch, actually.
As they exited, shots rang out. Larry and his lawyer both fell, critically injured, before being rushed to the hospital. After multiple surgeries which removed his spleen, part of his stomach, and 3 feet of intestine, plus transfusions replacing 20 pints of blood, Larry Flint came out of the hospital alive. But, as Alan pointed out, the shooting damaged his spinal cord, leaving him permanently confined to a wheelchair. Damn it. The lawyer made a full recovery.
Yeah, fuck lawyers.
Lawyers, dude, they do so well.
Yeah.
They do so well.
Slippery.
Pro bono bullets right there, buddies. Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
This is a side question.
Question in the back.
This is a philosophical sexuality, human
Yes, there.
sexuality
Young man with the hair.
Young blood got a question in the corner.
Mm-hmm.
Can Larry Flint, is it publicly known if he can still like have a good time with his genitalia?
I'm not sure, although I do know that he never has walked again, but he started to regain some feeling in his legs.
Okay.
So I'm hoping and praying that he
it would
has
just be
feeling
so
everywhere.
ironic if a man like that couldn't just
Couldn't get it up anymore.
couldn't have sex.
That'd be brutal.
relations.
We should call him and ask him.
I would love to.
Praying
Investigators.
for you, Larry.
Larry, hashtag praying for Larry.
Thoughts and prayers for Larry.
I'm trying to take up some causes right now, guys. Are you guys interested in? Are there any causes you think I should take
Can
up?
you guys donate to my Patreon for Larry Flint?
What about you, sir? Are there any causes that you think are very, they're very current that we should be taking up?
Yes. I am raising money to try to get Larry Flint another boner.
Hey guys, the holidays are hard on a lot of people, but they're not that hard on Larry Flint.
That's supposed to be a pun.
So why don't we get?
Guys, for 5 cents a day, less than the price of a cup of coffee, you too can help an old man get a hard dick.
I think for less
Happy
than that, we
International
can
Women's
get
Day.
I'm sure on Chatterbait we could help a lot of old men get hard dicks, dude. The three of us right now.
Charity.
Investigators struggled to make any headway.
That's my name.
They spent the critical first few hours following a pair of bad leads, chasing suspects who had nothing to do with the shooting. Then Larry's wife stated in an interview that 25% of his employees had been fired just a week before. So they spent the next couple weeks chasing down any possible disgruntled former employee. At the same time, the Flints started their own investigation.
That's what you got to do. You got to take matters
Wheelchair
into your own
justice.
Larry believed he'd been shot by the CIA or the FBI. He even offered a reward for information in the LA Free Press.
Oh, I bet there's still a conspiracy theory right now out there about that it wasn't this guy. I bet the white supremacists have a conspiracy theory about it.
They already had a 7-man team on the payroll looking into the Kennedy assassination.
But I think we could put a couple guys on your case.
They diverted the team to Larry's shooting, but found no leads to link it to the Kennedy.
They took people off the Kennedy investigation?
Larry Flint took he had personally hired people to investigate the Kennedy assassination to try to prove that it was the CIA or the FBI.
Dude,
and he goes, hey,
Larry Flint killed JFK, and then he shot himself
to cover up the
That's why
tracks.
he's in the wheelchair.
So
all
brilliant.
this thing's a false flag.
Do they all live on the moon in a base, a secret base?
Yeah, but get this: jet fuel can't melt steel beams.
A year went by with no leads,
Hashtag truth.
but Larry kept his team at it, assuming the failed police investigation was more proof that he was close to the truth about JFK. Eventually, he moved back to Los Angeles, staying behind the 10-foot walls of the fortress-like former home of Sonny and Cher.
It kept their marriage together. I wanted to keep me safe.
While Larry and law enforcement were chasing ghosts, Jimmy was beating himself up for yet another failure.
Physically, like literally punching himself and talking to himself in the mirror.
That's all what I assume.
Right?
Yeah. I assume that's what he was doing.
You assume a lot.
Jimmy.
If only he'd fired more shots, the man peddling mixed-race pornography would be dead. He was determined not to make the same mistake again.
Can you imagine the priorities of some of these people? Like, I'm going to change the world. We got these people ruining the world over here. I'm going to change it. Who are you going to kill? Oh, this guy that makes pornos. Oh, all right. Yeah, you seem like you got your head on straight.
In July of 78, he saw a black man exiting a Pizza Hut with a white woman,
Oh, fuck. Better get my gun out.
and he killed him with a shotgun.
Wow.
Oh, my God. I was just riffing, but this got really horrid.
Next, he laid low for a few months by robbing another bank and marrying a 16-year-old.
Just keeping it real low key right now. I just married a 16-year-old and robbed a bank. Just very chill.
How's this guy getting chicks?
Just trying to relax.
How the hell's this guy getting chicks?
Well, he's very well read.
He
So-
just knows Mein Kampf.
Well, yeah, but these girls don't speak German, so he just quotes it in German, and they're like, oh, that's like a language of love.
From the way you've described this guy, though, I can't imagine that this guy has anything romantic to offer. I bet he cries when he fucks.
The couple settled in Alabama,
No offense to anyone that's listening that cries when
with
he fucks.
Jimmy leaving for weeks at a time, returning with large sums of money.
Where'd you get that cash, Jimmy?
Anita had no idea he was
bank?
robbing banks.
Oh, okay, cool. Let's go out to Cheesecake Factory and get something to eat.
She thought her husband was James A. Cooper, a plumber with a surprisingly lucrative contracting job.
Oh, she didn't even know his real name?
Didn't know his real name, thought he was a plumber who just got big government contracts
Jimmy
that he
Cooper.
got paid for in cash.
Wow. What a dumb idiot.
Mr. Cooper.
It was a year before he killed again. On July 29th, 1979, he shot a black man at a Taco Bell because he saw him talking to white women. It was the manager instructing his employees on the rules of the day.
Did he kill him?
9 days later, he shot another black man.
My cold, dead chalupa. You won't be talking to different races and
How dare you
Taco
talk to a
Bell.
white woman in a Mexican restaurant
Yeah.
of all
I know.
places?
It's like some other racist would have been there and be like, well, what are you fucking doing here?
9 days later, he shot another black man through the window
I thought he would have needed a restaurant where black people worked.
of a Burger King.
Oh, this guy just has a horrible diet, by the way. That's probably part of the
Yeah, Pizza Hut, Taco Bell, and Burger King.
This guy is fucking trash.
17 days later, Anita gave birth to a daughter, but Jimmy would not be deterred from starting his race war. The couple separated a month later.
Jimmy, can you just leave the race war alone for 2 seconds and help raise your fucking daughter?
No, if I don't take the race war, who's gonna do it?
God damn it, Jimmy, we miss you.
Daddy, I miss you so much.
What's your name again?
I don't even know because you never told
Which
me.
kid are you? I have a lot of cream pies that I left a month later.
Honey, I have to go make the world a worse place.
Honey, I know you need a father right now, but let me tell you something. There's a black man saying hello to a woman with red hair right now, and he has to die.
I understand.
Over the next year, Jimmy embarked on
Maybe
a
I'll marry you next, 4-year-old girl.
rampage, murdering over a dozen people. While he mostly focused on blacks and Jews, he also killed a few white women when he found out that they'd been with black men.
Jimmy is an equal opportunity murderer.
In 1980, many of his murders stopped being political. He killed one prostitute simply because she wouldn't stop talking.
Then this is when his murders got real interesting. This is the White Album for him. He's off book. He's just kind of going with whatever he's feeling.
He's just beating people to death with a sitar.
Yeah.
Ravi Shankar.
But it wasn't enough. The cops weren't connecting his murders, and there was no mention in the news of racial motivation.
So no one's any closer to catching this
How
guy.
could he start a race war if his killings didn't get the right press?
Oh, he's stressed out like Ray Finkel. He's got a wall of newspaper clippings, and he's like, they're not on to me.
Why aren't they getting it? On May 29th, 1980,
He's like a comedian. He just wants to connect.
Jimmy stepped it up and shot civil rights leader Vernon Jordan Jr.
Oh, shit.
But he survived. While activists rightfully assumed it was racially motivated, the press reported the motives were personal. Jimmy was furious.
Well, there were both. He was personally pretty fucking racist.
Yeah.
That summer, he drove around urban neighborhoods to find targets. But he wanted to remain incognito, so he donned a disguise.
What was this disguise, Mr. Slaton?
An afro wig and blackface.
Okay.
Oh my God, this is like a super Dan Aykroyd character.
Jimmy.
Wow.
Jimmy.
like-
I can hear the tone in your voice, Alan Strickland Williams, and I feel like you just got more disappointed by the blackface than all the racist murder. That's what happened.
No, it's
That's
just
hilarious.
this guy just wants to be black.
Oh, for sure. There's definitely penis envy when people are that racist.
I will replace you.
God.
The secret thing, like a homophobia, is that you're closet gay, but you don't have the bravery to just be out. And then the racist thing is like, I wish I was that guy.
Right.
Like, it's the deep, weird, it's just deep, weird psychological shit.
Yeah, I'm both, so I don't know.
You know
I'm,
what I mean?
I'm a racist homophobe.
Congrats, man.
Yeah.
I'm a gay and a racial guy.
That's... Fuck, I love you.
You want a 69 on this fucking table here
Yeah,
at the
dude.
comedy store? They don't mind, right? It already smells
After-
like Badissi in this
Yeah, it
fucking
does.
studio.
After killing in Ohio, Pennsylvania, and West Virginia,
He went to a different fast food chain.
Oh, the hat
He
trick.
got diarrhea again. Oh, a hat trick. That's right. He got a turkey.
He shot someone at Arby's.
Oh, that's 25 extra points, Jimmy. Good job.
He apparently decided that finding black people in cities with large black populations was too easy,
Oh, he doesn't like low-hanging fruit.
as he believed that God helped him evade capture by making him invisible.
Thank you, Hashem.
Looking for a
So wait a
challenge.
second. He's invisible, but he's still doing the blackface and the
Yes.
afro?
Yeah.
Only when he wears his afro is he invisible.
Oh, it's an invisible afro.
Yeah,
it's like
a cloak.
kids.
Yeah. Doink. He's like,
Oh,
Can't-
my God.
"Ooh, I'm invisible.
Harry, looks like someone left a package on your bed. It's your... Oh, I've seen one of those before. That's an invisibility afro.
Is that Harry Nazi?
Yes.
Oh, dude.
Looking for a challenge, Jimmy headed west to Salt Lake City.
Maybe I'll find
When
a
I-
black folk in Utah.
When I think of heading out west, I think about Salt Lake City, baby.
Right? That's what I'm talking about. Skiing just 25 miles away. A Denny's right in front of you. Salt Lake City. Come on
Utah
down.
holds a strange distinction of being the state with the most serial killings in the U.S.
Does it really? Still?
Some investigators believe
Fuck going there.
that it's because Salt Lake is crossed by I-15 and I-80,
What does that mean?
two major national freeways.
So it's just a
Quite
good, like,
literally-
route? It's practical?
X marks the spot.
What?
Two of the biggest
I think
cross-national
it's,
highways.
I think it's the high sodium content. I think it makes you kill.
Can I ask you a question?
I think if you have a,
Hypertension just
Yeah.
gets you out there wanting to murder people. I get it. Yes, question in the back.
Do serial killers take long road trips? Is that what this is about? I don't
Yes, often. Wow. Quite often.
Could I
That-
be a serial killer and not know it? Because I love road trips.
Yeah, you probably are.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, not riding with you anymore, bro.
Well, yes, you are.
Other investigators also think that it's the clean, friendly nature of the city that kind of attracts, because serial killers tend to be more
it is,
fastidious.
Salt Lake City is very clean. I remember going there once to kill, and and I was very impressed.
They had plastic lie down everywhere.
we got him in here. This was a confessional podcast. We trapped Alan. This is like the HBO.
By the way, Jimmy could have used a podcast, get his race war out there,
Right.
connect with like-minded people.
What would his podcast be? Mine podcast?
Mindcast.
Mindcast. If that's not already a podcast, I will be shocked. Others think,
Shocked by the lightning bolt.
Either way, Jimmy arrived in August of 1980 ready to kill. But first, he needed to get laid.
Oh, dude. Yeah, you can't do anything with a nut full of nut.
Shockingly, every girl he met was put off by his racist rants and incessant use of slurs.
Have you ever
It's so hard dating in Salt Lake City.
Super difficult.
That's what they equate it
That's
to.
the
They're like-
takeout.
He thinks he's like unique. They're like, it's another one of those guys.
And so he has a Tinder profile, and the description is, I hate blacks and Jews. And some girl's doing the only swipe right thing. And then she matches, she's like,
I only swipe alt right.
I got a date tonight. I don't know. I think he's racist.
Quit being so picky. You gotta lower your standards. You're never gonna find someone, Betty.
So he turned to prostitutes.
As we all do from time to time.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that. It's a Paul Simon lyric, right? Everything, you know.
After he got his rocks off, he spent the next week searching for black people.
She just busted one nut, and he's like, "All right, I'm ready to get back to what I was doing."
He banged a few hookers during this time period.
Can you describe the sex?
I think one of them was named Millie.
And he cried a lot.
Probably.
Yep.
After he got his rocks off, he spent the next week searching for black people in Salt Lake City.
How much you want to bet this guy had some gay stuff happen to him when he was with these hookers?
It took 10 days before he saw a group of joggers, 2 black men and 2 white women, and took his shots, killing both men. The cops, afraid of setting off a race riot in a town with almost no black people,
How could that happen then?
were quick to announce the killings were not racially motivated.
Oh, I love when they do that.
While they barked up the wrong tree, Invisible Jimmy fled once again. But his divine luck was running out. First, one of his prostitutes came forward, telling the cops about the tattooed racist with an arsenal of weapons.
If you can't trust a prostitute in this world,
Who
Seriously.
can you? You know?
Some things just like really bring me down.
wow.
Then a message came in from police in Ohio. They were investigating a double murder with the same MO. Soon they had a collection of license plate numbers and 16 aliases running through the National Crime Information Center, a database linking over 57,000 agencies, but it didn't turn up a lead. Then on September 25th, officers in Florence, Kentucky went to the Scottish Inn to arrest a 19-year-old suspected of car theft, armed robbery, and possession of marijuana.
Welcome to the Scottish Inn, sir. May I find you a room or something?
That's really a unique Kentuckian accent I'm hearing from you there, fella.
Oh, I'm not from Kentucky. I'm from Scotland. That's why I got this job here. Can I ask why you have your guns drawn?
If you want to smoke, you got to do it in the back room.
That's
Scottish?
that's the Scottish Cosby.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
That was definitely Scottish Cosby.
You got to eat the haggis.
Yeah.
Let me get a little haggis with some sleeping powder.
Almost a dozen police cars surrounded
Have a look underneath.
the parking lot, blocking in the stolen car, as well as the car stolen by Jimmy, who just happened to be staying in the room next door.
Wait.
The cops are at this hotel to take down some
the wrong
room.
That's some bad luck, buddy.
They're there to arrest someone else entirely, and he just happens to be staying in the room next to this guy.
Oh, ficht. Dude, if you believe fucking in divine intervention, maybe that's it there, Jimmy.
The manager of the hotel got a phone call from Jimmy.
Is this about the guy that owns that sandwich company, Jimmy John's?
Yes.
Oh, God.
Complaining about the noise and asking when his car would be free.
I'd eat at a Nazi sandwich place if the sandwiches were good.
The manager told the officers that one of his guests was complaining because his car was blocked in. The police looked inside the vehicle and saw a revolver on the seat. So they ran the plate, which came back for a double homicide.
Holy shit.
This
Ding,
guy,
ding, ding, ding,
This
ding,
guy
ding,
left
ding.
a revolver on the seat of a car without tinted windows? Was he fucking nuts?
He got a little sloppy at the end.
Yeah, no shit.
They knocked on
I'll
Jimmy's...
get it later.
Yeah, God, my back hurts. I don't really feel like lifting all
Did
that
I
extra weight.
leave my gun in the car? Okay. Did I leave it on? Is my
Alan,
gun on?
The likable fucking forgetful killer. He's kind of sloppy.
They knocked on Jimmy's door, and when he opened, they could see 2 shotguns on the bed.
What can I do you for, officers?
He was arrested and taken in for questioning.
Why did you
think
have
you-
these shotguns on the bed?
You think he's having sex with them, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's from the gun marriage.
He's from the
threesome.
church that marries guns. Yeah, he's like, I'll be done in a minute, sir.
It's okay.
Hey, you
She's
guys-
16.
Hey, officer, you want to
Gage.
come? Hey, if you want to come in, there's 2 of them here. There's more than enough to go around. We can make this a 4-way.
I'll turn off the safety.
I always practice safe sex, officer. Click.
They left him in the interrogation room without handcuffs.
Oh, that's fucking. Are they Nazis? Are these Nazi officers? You know those
And
Nazi
he
officers?
promptly escaped out the window.
Wow.
They had him and he escaped.
He hitchhiked out of town and disappeared.
What the what?
Is that it?
They
that's
had
the
him?
end?
That's
No,
the end of
there's
the story?
more. There's more.
Disappeared.
As a quick note for this calling thing, when he called the manager to complain, the manager was like, "I don't know what I can do." He actually called the police dispatch 4 or 5 times in a row to make more complaints. And eventually they're like, "Dude, they're not there for you." And then he got arrested. So that was pretty awesome.
That's crazy.
So he disappears.
Okay.
But the cops had his wallet with his real ID.
Did I leave my wallet in the... fuck.
God, I keep forgetting
God
stuff.
Damn it. Stupid, Jimmy. Stupid.
Yeah, he's like roughly sig-heiling himself in the mirror. He's like, stupid.
Joint task forces put it all together, realizing that he was the prime suspect in dozens of murders and the attempted assassination of Vernon Jordan. Then they matched his handwriting to death threats sent to President Jimmy Carter.
Whoa, they're like, dude, this guy, I bet that must have been blown their minds in the station. They're just like, and look at this.
Within days, his face was all over national news.
Oh, he's all excited now. Race war!
He made the FBI's 10 most wanted list.
Oh, hell yeah.
Then they got a big break.
That's like big, right? Top
When
10.
Jimmy was spotted selling a pint of blood for $7 in Birmingham, Alabama.
Top 10 race warriors to watch in 2018.
A pint of blood. Okay.
How do you, yeah. it's-
$7. I mean, look, you can get a solid IPA for about the same amount now.
With inflation, yeah, I was about to say. Wow.
The feds distributed his picture to blood banks all across the South. At 3 p.m. on October 28th, Jimmy entered the blood bank in Lakeland, Florida, just 3 hours after the FBI had stopped by to drop off their flyers.
Do you think he get tired of regular banks, and that's why he started all this blood bank shit? Stick him up.
He's just anything Banks. He's
Yeah.
like, I got this Nirvana album, Muddy Banks of Wishgut, that was apparently unreleased. I like Kurt Cobain. He's very white.
You know, this has been strange. I really thought it'd be a better market for all this semen. I've got 4 coolers in the back and nothing to do with them.
It's white, just like me.
I'm white, like cum, but with hands and feet and
You know
knees.
why that beautiful color of cum?
In the donation room, the nurses noticed his racist tattoos and called the feds.
As he was fapping all fast, he's like, you want me to come in this thing? Oh, no, this is a blood bank.
Yeah.
So he's trying to just get money?
Yeah, he's selling blood for money now.
When they say racist tattoos, did he just literally have a tattoo that said racist on him?
He had
His
like
chest had I'm with racist with an arrow pointing at it?
The man, the racist.
it was the Ghostbusters logo, but instead of a ghost, it was a Jew.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, I ain't afraid of no Hebe. Something strange, and it's got a big nose.
I ain't afraid of no Jews. After donating, he collected his $5 check and walked out the front door right into the arms of waiting federal agents.
Wow.
Can I cash this thing first?
They placed him under arrest and drove him to the police station, stopping on the way so he could cash his check.
I was just riffing. That really happened?
That really happened.
Wow.
Because as cops, did that amuse him? Like, let's just do it. It'll be a funny story.
It was part of the entire strategy. So we don't really get into the interrogation stuff a lot. We're going to touch on it a little bit, but part of their strategy was to continually try to make him feel comfortable so he would talk more. So on one of the plane rides between here and one of the trials,
Yeah, it's a tactic to...
there was one of the cops on the plane was saying like, well, you did a great job getting rid of all these his and his. And they, the defense tried to claim that later in court, being like, well, he was. And they're like, no, that's a tactic.
Yeah.
Yeah, just use slurs.
But I like you explained to me right now is one of those things where I was like, why didn't I know that already? It's so obvious. Like it's just let him cash the check. When you said interrogation, though, can I just say, does anyone ever take the Carly Simon song "Anticipation" and change the lyric to interrogation? It's beautiful. Interrogation
At the station.
Okay, we can
He
go on.
used his phone call on his ex-wife, Anita.
Oh, what's up, Anita? Bail money,
bail.
please. Anita, hand to get me out of. Yeah, sorry. Anita, lawyer. Sorry.
With the FBI listening, he told her, quote, they got me for 12 homicides down here and 4 bank robberies, and the funny thing is it's true.
No, you're gonna laugh when you hear
Stop me
that.
if you've heard this one before. A guy murders lots of blacks.
I can't remember. Did you know that I was murdering people when we were married?
What name did I tell you I had?
I've been doing a lot since the last time we saw each other.
So I murdered 12 people. No big deal.
NBD.
I signed with the KKK,
Yeah.
but they weren't really doing it for me, so I went to the ANP.
Now I'm kind of like a free agent, do my own thing, you know.
But during interrogation, he refused to admit to the murders, instead spending his time complaining about mixed-race couples. Officers
Really trying to get that message across,
Yeah.
huh? No one is listening,
Talk
asshole.
about a broken record.
Officers eventually offered to get him food, which he turned down when they couldn't guarantee it wouldn't be prepared by a black person. In the lead up to his first trial,
If I was one of the cops, I'd be so tired. I'd just be like, yeah, I will put it in writing. There's no black people.
Why didn't they just give him like a jar of mayonnaise then, or something? That's like a white people food, right? Mayonnaise.
and a napkin.
I don't know.
Mayonnaise in a napkin?
Come.
In the lead up to his first trial,
When all else fails, Alan, just go back to
you
jizz.
fit on the show so well, Alan.
Just go back to jizz. It's always good.
In the lead up to his first trial, Jimmy gave interviews claiming he was being unfairly targeted for his racist views.
Huh. Almost like the way he unfairly targeted the people he murdered.
Yeah. I think I'm going to have to go with Judge Allen on this one.
He told a reporter that while he wasn't guilty, race mixing should be a capital crime.
Yeah, that's what a lot of innocent people say.
Yeah. You seem like you have your head on straight, sir.
Yeah.
Let's listen to the rest of what you have to say.
You seem like a pretty good guy.
Yeah.
But in jail, he freely bragged to another prisoner about his murders, robberies, and escape plan.
I mean, it is jail. You kind of want to brag a little bit.
You kind of need to embellish. Like, I killed him really violently, too.
Yeah.
You know?
That inmate spent 10 days with Jimmy before reaching out to the FBI and cutting a deal.
Because he got info from Jimmy. So he's like, hey, you guys want to know about?
2 weeks later, the jury returned a verdict of guilty, and the judge gave him 2 life sentences. In prison, he was an obvious target for black gangs.
You think?
The Aryan Brotherhood offered him a weapon and protection if he joined, but he refused because he didn't
What?
see them as true believers.
Oh my God, this guy's a fucking tool.
Wow.
You're in prison. The one group that you're like, I was like, of course he'll have the protection though of the Aryan Brotherhood. He'll hang out with those guys. They're not wide enough for me.
Jimmy
All right, you
does
idiot.
not hate well with others.
4 days after his arrival, Jimmy was stabbed 15 times with a knife made out of tin cans.
As long as no black people made any of those cans, I'm okay with it.
He survived. The FBI declined to prosecute anybody. In 1983,
Where are they going to go? Super jail?
they just add more to your shit.
Yeah.
In 1983, he finally admitted to shooting Larry Flint. It was one of many crimes for which he was indicted, but never tried, because he already faced stiffer penalties in other cases.
Oh.
Over the next 17 years, he bounced between prison and half a dozen more trials. In 1997, he received the first of his death sentences.
Oh.
He spent 16 more years in prison, complaining repeatedly about being surrounded by blacks and homosexuals.
Who do you complain?
Well, yeah, you are at gay black prison, buddy.
Now, as a
That's
quick,
exactly where you'd send him to. Be like, oh, you don't like black people? Well, you're going to, what's that, Blackenworth?
he did have one more escape attempt when he was, during one of his trials, they put him in a separate room, and he used a screwdriver that someone had snuck to him to pry the door off the interrogation room.
Wow.
And then he went to the elevator and like hot wired the elevator in the courthouse.
Are you serious?
And he got in the elevator and then did the whole like go through the roof of the elevator thing. And
fair.
they tried to catch him. They saw him going to the air ducts, and he was like taking the air ducts trying to get out. He was John McClane his way.
It's really a shame this
Out
guy
of-
didn't live to see the rise of all these escape rooms.
Yeah, he would have just been like,
He probably could have just
wouldn't
gotten it out of his system there.
He
and-
wouldn't have gone. He would have been like, black people run those rooms, don't they? I'm not going to that room. There were gay people that escaped the hour before.
Well, no. What you do is you put him in there.
And it's $100.
Here's what
I
you
only
do.
have $7
If
from
you're
selling my blood.
if you're in an all black group for an escape room, you get him on your team because he will want to be out of there so fast.
Oh, yeah.
They'll close it. Okay, you have 1 hour or two. We're done.
So this guy, I got to just make a side note here.
Sure.
He's kind of seemed like a knuckle dragger for this whole episode, right?
Yeah.
But it just goes to show like human intelligence, how it can be like kind of non-equalized, and you can have some things that shoot up pretty high.
Like I said, he's a reader.
The way he's escaped, like prying the thing off, then messing with the elevator. I'm like, this guy seemed like I wouldn't know how to do any of those things. Yet most of his other mistakes and opinions, I never have to worry about holding.
He's got what can we say? He's got chutzpah.
Chutzpah.
These Jews that admire him. You know the thing about this kid, he's very, very persistent.
It took until 2013 to schedule his execution. But even then, there were speed bumps.
Because the iCalendar crashed and we lost everything. We don't know who was going to get executed.
First, European drug manufacturers threatened to cut off their supply to the U.S.
I remember
over
when that was
moral
happening.
objections to the
right.
death penalty.
I motherfucking remember that was happening.
Matters were further complicated when Larry Flint himself called for a stay of execution, as he was also against capital punishment.
Fuck yeah, Larry, fucking badass move on Larry's part.
Great.
That takes some chutzpah right there.
Then, on November 18th, U.S. district judges granted 2 stays of execution over concerns about the method of death and his mental competence. Both were quickly overturned. On November 20th, 2013,
Okay, you got to take that one over.
on November 20th, 2013, Jimmy Clayton Vaughn, a.k.a. Joseph Paul Franklin, was
Exited this
executed
world.
by lethal injection.
That's all she wrote, baby.
And you're out. Hello,
So long, Joe Pa.
so long, racist.
I wish Alan worked for like the news when they do like live things and stuff like that, so he could end it with something like that. Like he dies and he goes like, "So long, baby." That's what he said. I loved it.
Good night, baby. Enjoy the late show.
Today's sources include Dark Soul of the South by Mel Aiton, CNN, USA Today, and of course the evil robots at Wikipedia.
I was do you compile all this? Do you
I
write
do,
this?
yeah.
Dude, good job.
Thank you.
I appreciate that.
Every week.
It's a lot of work.
And if you want to support that work, you can jump on CRiiiME's Patreon. I think it's patreon.com/CRiiiME or CRiiiME pod, which you can do because now we have something super cool, which is the sticker of the CRiiiME Sticker of the Month Club.
Sticker of the month.
So you can jump on there and get all of our bonus episodes for $2 a month, but you can for $5 a month you get the bonus episodes and the pre-sale access to our live shows, and you get a cool new sticker every month designed by this fella sitting to my right.
Shalom, I'm a graphic artist for hire.
And another great way to support the show is go to the iTunes if you're listening there and give us a 5-star rating and review, because people look at that and they go, oh, these guys are legit, because somebody called them. But by the way, my favorite review of all time, still Zippy Toe Tech, a history lesson on whippets. That's like the new tagline
That's awesome.
for CRiiiME.
But not a history lesson about whippets.
No,
as if
on.
you were
Whilst
inebriated by whippets.
whilst on whippets.
Whilst on whippets.
Alan Strickland Williams, where can people find you on the interwebs?
Find me at Totally Allen, TOTALLYALLEN on Twitter, AlanStricklandWilliams.com. I'll be waiting for you.
And again, you can see Alan Strickland Williams right now on Comedy Central's
I
Corporate.
was on Corporate. Yeah, that should be out now. I think on the app, maybe.
One of
Freaking
the
rad.
coolest new shows on Comedy Central.
it's
really,
amazing.
Very good.
really sharply written.
Was it fun
Oh, it was
Doing it?
great.
Oh,
it was
that's
great.
awesome. I can't wait to see your episode.
It's good. It's like it's pretty crazy too. I had a little role, but it's pretty fun. It's pretty funny.
Oh, it's so rad. So freaking rad, guys. Please hit the share button.
Oh yeah, share the show with
send
somebody
it to a friend. I'm trying to look
or an
on here
enemy.
to-
Send an episode to a friend or just
Oh,
anybody.
yeah,
Really,
punish someone with it.
if you think someone hates cum jokes, send them at least 3
Definitely
episodes.
send them this episode.
This episode. This was a very low cum episode.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, it must be because I jerked off right before I came over.
I know. I'm proud of you. I can see you're dehydrated.
Yeah, I'm so thirsty.
This 5-star review is from Tom32739.
32739.
True crime and comedy. I'll read it. Here we go. James Hetfield reading your review. A great show about true crime stories with a comedic take. Thoroughly researched stories with lots of detail.
Read it as George W. Bush.
Lots of funny riffing from the hosts and guests.
God, he's so quick with it
Yeah,
too.
that was good.
If you enjoy the crime stories, check it out. So freaking funny. 5 stars by Anna B82.
Anna B.
I've literally told everyone that can hear to listen to this podcast. Seriously. The best riffs and humor I've ever heard about some pretty gnarly stories.
That James Hetfield is still killing
You're
it.
That
doing
is really good. This is his later shit.
that. She said we're doing the Lord's work, Rich and Shefsky. Love
course
you
we are.
guys. That's
And-
beautiful.
Guys, we'll keep doing
As
the Lord's
if there's
work.
a God.
Thanks for being excellent criminals.
Thank you guys so much.
We're really proud of each and every one of you for all that you accomplish. Just keep checking those crime boxes over and over again and bringing us those great new stories. Oh yeah, speaking of stories, you can email the show crimepodcast@gmail.com with any questions you have, suggestions, dick pics for Shefsky, whatever you're into.
Make them
send it-
3D so I can touch them.
Fuck yeah. Bye, robot.